The most typical scenario is that a government would ban individual episodes of a TV program, but not the full series. The grounds for banning an episode are frequently clear: sexual material, religious references, off-color comedy, and so on. But some TV programs are also prohibited for unanticipated reasons. The grounds for a series banning are similar to those for an episode banning, and they may vary from the obvious to bizarre. What does it take for an entire series to be outright banned in a certain location? Let's take a look at the top banned TV shows that shocked the world. At number 9, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Power Rangers were a part of every childhood in the 90s and the early 2000s. Dreaming to be one of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers still excites the child inside every adult reading this. The catchy colors, the awesome storyline, and the good-looking star cast. What's not to like? Malaysia, on the other hand, thought differently. Although Malaysia was not the only country to outlaw the show, it did so for the most intriguing reason. We might have chosen New Zealand, where the program was filmed in subsequent incarnations, when parents protested about the show's degree of violence. The island country briefly banned it. Instead, we chose to impose a ban for an unexpected reason. Malaysia's government, as it turns out, has a problem. They allegedly had a huge issue with the show's title, particularly with the term morphin. They thought it was too close to the narcotic morphine's name, and thus the show was then prohibited in December 1995 by the notoriously anti-drug country unless the producers deleted the offending phrase from the title, which they ultimately did. Number 8 is The Big Bang Theory. The story revolves around the lives of Leonard, Sheldon, Howard, and Raj, four socially inept pals who encountered the gorgeous and free-spirited Penny, and about how their paths take a dramatic turn. This show was, and it still is, to this date, one of the best sitcoms to have ever existed. The storyline, the dialogues, the timing, everything about this sitcom screams must-watch. It is generally the consequence of local beliefs or politics when a country bans a television or show. However, now and again, there appears to be no rationale to support the shift, at least not one supplied by the authorities. The State Administration of Press, Publication, Radio, Film, and Television of China banned The Big Bang Theory, along with a few American sitcoms in 2014. A year later, they changed their decision, prompting some to believe that the move was just to provide Chinese-made material with a financial boost. Aside from the vague policy considerations, no formal rationale has been provided so far. We cannot imagine not being able to binge-watch this one gem of a series. Number 7 is Sex and the City. This show was so ahead of its time and is still relevant to date. The show became famous for its unparalleled boldness, heart-touching twists, and of course, Sarah Jessica Parker. Revolving around the lives of four women in their late 30s, living fiercely in NYC, making their own mistakes, this show had it all. At first, censors in Singapore thought a program about the sex lives of unmarried women in New York was too hot. When the show first aired on HBO in the late 1990s in the United States, and pretty much everywhere else in the globe, the government outlawed it. Then in 2004, they gave up and amended the subscription TV program code, allowing the show to run in the United States, with certain restrictions. HBO Asia advertised the delayed release with the catchphrase, "Love is always worth the wait," which was fitting. On a very exciting note, the revival of this show is officially coming to HBO Max. Number 6 is Modern Family. Three modern-day California families deal with their children, eccentric spouses, and professions in their distinct ways, frequently getting themselves into amusing situations. Throughout its first few seasons, critics praised The Modern Family. Its critical reaction got increasingly mixed as the series proceeded, but it retained a dedicated fan following and remained successful throughout its 11 seasons. The last season was well received, with 7.37 million first-run viewers for the finale episode. A retrospective documentary broadcast before the final episode, Iran not only banned the show from airing in the nation, but they also created their version of it. Half-Sang is an unlicensed Iranian copycat of the popular American comedy that closely resembles the original. That is, without Mitchell and Cam, the show's homosexual pair. Instead, they made a heterosexual relationship. Number 5 is Andy Mack. Andy Mack is a Disney Channel family comedy drama that ran from April 7, 2017 until July 26, 2019. Andy Mack made Disney Channel history in the late 2010s when a key character, Cyrus Goodman, came out homosexual. The major surprise happened in the show's second season and ratings went up almost everywhere. Various organizations, including GLAAD, praised the series for the decision. The Kenyan government, on the other hand, was not shouting Disney's praises. Instead, they outlawed the show because of the homosexual plot. Any effort to introduce LGBT programming in Kenya would be confronted with the full force of the law, says Kenya Film Classification Board Chief Executive Ezekiel Mutua. Number 4 is The Simpsons. Homer, a working-class dad, and his dysfunctional family deal with hilarious circumstances and the ups and downs of life in Springfield. While The Simpsons did briefly get restricted from broadcasting at prime time in China, ostensibly to help the struggling local animators, it was never totally removed from air. Only Myanmar and Venezuela have banned the show. The Simpsons family members aren't intended to be role models, so we take it for granted. But according to Venezuela's television regulator, this isn't the case for everyone. The long-running show was prohibited in Venezuela in 2008 for being inappropriate and promoting messages that are contrary to the whole education of boys, girls, and teenagers. It was phased out. Number 3 is Doctor Who. Doctor Who and his companions travel across time and space on the TARDIS, a mysterious 2,000-year-old time machine traveling figure. Chinese officials have a lengthy list of extremely precise things they don't want to see in their country's films and television shows. Cleavage, celebrity children, jokes about Chinese culture and customs, representations of Western lifestyles in a positive light, South Koreans, homosexuality, revenge, and time travel are among the items that have been lately banned on the Chinese television. It's without a doubt one of the harshest bans in the history of TV censorship. Number 2 is Knots Landing. It was set in the fictional Los Angeles seaside and followed the lives of 4 married couples who lived on a sea view circle. During the show's 14-year run, plots featured martial struggle, rape, murder, kidnapping, and execution. Even if you're a bit young to remember the famous drama, you'll recognize some of its stars. In addition to Alec Baldwin, Helen Hunt, Marcia Cross, Gary Sinise, and Billy Bob Thornton all had early cameos on the show. You probably didn't watch it if you resided in South Africa during the show's final years. Landing's distributor, Lorimar, blocked the program from distribution in South Africa as a protest against the country's apartheid regime. A rare case of the show being banned in another country, but not by the country itself. Lorimar was following the footsteps of a large number of musicians who have vowed not to play. This entertainment boycott proved to be a major instrument in South Africa's final decolonization. And the last item on this list is Family Guy. Family Guy is a Fox Broadcasting Company adult animated sitcom created by Seth MacFarlane and developed by MacFarlane and David Zuckerman, that debuted on January 31, 1999. Fuzzy Door Productions is in charge of the series production. Taiwan, Indonesia, Iran, Vietnam, Egypt, and the Philippines are among the nations that have banned Family Guy, as are Malaysia, South Korea, South Africa, Russia, and India, which will all be recognizable to anyone who has read the whole list. And that's on top over a dozen other countries that have outright banned specific episodes of the program. That list includes the United Nations. No, seriously. To be shown in other countries, our television programs are subjected to a variety of cuts and modifications. Every country has its own set of norms, values, and rules, which imported entertainment must conform and adapt to. Except for series that were previously contentious in their original nation, TV shows are generally allowed in other countries with restrictions. How many of the above names raised your eyebrows? Tell us about it in the comment section down below.